Hey guys, welcome to your weekly dose of your go-to swimming show, Swimming on 216, proudly brought to you by Kiro. I'm your host, Emma Prinsloo, and we've got all the tips, tricks, and inspiration from the pool just for you. Today, we're taking a look at two unforgettable events that took place in the Western Cape. The Cape Town A-League Inter-High Gala, as well as the Super League Swim-Off Gala that took place just the week after. Get ready to dive into some epic moments from these two events. Milnerton High School played host to this year's Cape Town Inter-High A-League, an action-packed event that was brought to you live by SuperSport Schools on Channel 216. With a dynamic mix of individual races and relay events, top schools like St. Cyprian's, Kuro Durbanville, and the exciting newcomers Redham House Constantia went head-to-head, battling it out for the top spots on the points board. The stakes were high, as every team was fighting for a chance to secure their place at the Super League Swim-Off Gala. As swimmers took to the water at Rondebosch High School on a stunning sunny day, the records were falling fast. Arabella Bailey from Herschel Girls High impressed everyone, setting new records in both the under-14 50-meter butterfly and the under-14 50-meter backstroke. Herschel's relay teams also made their mark, smashing records in the under-16 4x50 medley relay and the under-19 4x50 freestyle relay. In the under-16 backstroke events, Kuro Durbanville's Ernst Bezuidenhout set a new boys record in 29.34, while Milan Orchin from Durbanville High shaved almost half a second off the girls' record, finishing in 31.72. Cassidy Burgess rewrote her own under-19 50-meter backstroke record with a sizzling 30.59, as well as taking down the under-19 50-meter butterfly record. Meanwhile, St. Cyprian's Amelia Fury captured the under-14 50-meter freestyle record with a time of 29.15. In a fiercely contested battle, Herschel Girls High School successfully defended their title, edging out St. Cyprian's, while Durbanville High School made a remarkable rise from 5th place in 2024 to 3rd place in 2025. On the boys' side, Rondebosch Boys High A team held strong at the top, maintaining their 2024 position, while Durbanville High School, who finished 7th last year, surged up to claim 2nd place, surpassing Milnerton High School. The top schools at the Cape Town A-League earned their spots in the Super League Swim-Off Gala, where they faced off against the best from the Boerland schools. Let's take a quick look at the action from that exciting showdown. The top schools from the Cape Town A-League made their way into the winelands to test their mettle against the best Boerland schools. Competing at Rhenish Girls High School, talented primary school swimmers also joined the high school teams for 2 under-12 relays, getting a taste of the high-energy action that comes with real high school racing. Arabella Bailey from Herschel Girls continued her record-breaking streak, setting a new mark in the under-13 50-meter butterfly with a speedy 31.08. Meanwhile, Sophie Smith from Redham House Constantia made her own splash, setting a new record in the under-13 50-meter backstroke with a time of 32.16. In the under-13 200-meter medley relay, records fell in both the boys' and the girls' races. On the boys' side, it was Paul Ruas who claimed the victory, while Paul Girls High absolutely dominated the girls' race, obliterating the previous record by more than 5 seconds with an impressive 2:17 flat. Herschel and Redham Constantia tied in a dead heat for 2nd place. In one of the most epic swims of the day, Llewellyn Viljoen from Paul Ruas smashed the under-13 boys 50-meter breaststroke record, dropping the time from 35.39 to 33.98, winning the race by more than a second. We also saw the talented Eric Kotzer from Paul Ruas dip under the 30-second mark in the boys under 15 50-meter breaststroke, setting a new record of 29.30. And in the open age group, Conrad Stradom from Durbanville High grabbed the under-18 50-meter butterfly record with a time of 25.68, while Rebecca Fury lowered the girls 18 and under 50-meter breaststroke record to a 34.50. After an electric afternoon of racing, it was Paarl Girls High School who led the girls' leaderboard, followed by fellow Boland School, Rhenish Girls High. Herschel Girls High repped the Cape Town schools, finishing in third. On the boys' side, Aarhus Gymnasium dominated the field, winning by more than a few body lengths ahead of Durbanville High School and Paarl Boys High. This year, the Boland region claimed victory as the overall winners in combined points. But can Cape Town bounce back stronger next year? Only time will tell. And remember, you can relive all the action anytime on the SuperSport Schools website. A massive congratulations to all the Western Cape swimmers who took part in these two exciting events. And if you missed any of the action, don't worry. Remember, you can catch it all up on the SuperSport Schools website at any time. Today, we are catching up with Cassidy Burgess, a Cape Town-based swimmer who's making a name for herself not only representing Herschel Girls High, but also earning medals for Team South Africa. Let's head down to Cape Town now and catch up with champion swimmer Cassidy Burgess.
I'm very proud and excited to represent South Africa in a country that not many people can say they've been to. When I get selected to represent my country, I always make the most of it because you never know what the future holds for you. When the team goes to Cairo, besides racing internationally, I'm looking forward to learning about the Egyptian culture and meeting new people both on the team as well as from other countries. For example, last year at Junior Commonwealth Games, I met Nikolai Blackman. He's from Trinidad and Tobago and won the 50 meters freestyle at Junior Worlds in Israel in 2023. To this day, Nikolai and I are still friends. Thank you very much. Racing in Angola was a great experience for me, and I'm very grateful to have been given the opportunity to go on a tour with senior swimmers. Angola taught me to be able to race in different types of conditions because it was very humid there, the pool temperature was hot, and it was an outdoor pool, meaning that when swimming backstroke, there is no line to follow. So, for example, in the 50 meters backstroke, the last 5 meters I swam into the lane rope, but that didn't get me down. That actually taught me to be stronger and more resilient. My pre-race routine is very short and simple, but I'd like to say it's effective. I usually first message my mom. She says good luck to me. And then I message my coach, Karin Hugo, to ask for advice. Thereafter, I take a gel, sit by myself, listening to music, and I get into the zone. My favorite quote more recently comes from the song Waka Waka. Every year before Sanjay, Vineyard has a team talk, and my coach emphasizes the line, "When you fall, get up." In my opinion, this highlights the idea that success is not just a destination, but it's a journey. Because schools and clubs are very separate, it's not often that I get to represent my school. So when I'm given the opportunity to swim in prestige school galas like A-League, I always make the most of it. Herschel always supports me in when I'm away for galas. So I feel as though this is my way of showing them that it's not just about me and my club, but it's also about the school that I go to. At these galas, I also really enjoy seeing all my friends, and because there's less pressure, it's always fun. So at Herschel, we train every Tuesday morning from 6 till 7:15. In my opinion, swimming at Herschel gives children who may have not had the facilities at their primary school to try swimming. And it also encourages everyone to get involved in the sport. It's not like if you're not a swimmer, you're not allowed to be on the team. They in fact encourage those who have never swum before to join the team so they can learn a new sport. I think my favorite part about racing the Boland schools is also just being given the opportunity to race schools that don't live in the same suburb as we do, because every gala we compete in term 1 and 4 is usually swum against schools that are in the southern suburbs. So I think it also exposes swimmers on our team to how the swimming is on that side of the world. And also I have many friends from the northern suburbs and the Boland schools, so it's also just very nice seeing them if I haven't seen them in a long time. I started swimming when I was about 4 years old, but that doesn't necessarily mean that I've always been a water baby. When I was younger, I was more into things like gymnastics and dancing. My sister Kirsty was actually the swimmer. But when I moved to Vineyard at about 6 years old and got moved up a squad, I became more interested in the sport and eventually started competing in level 1, level 2, Jack Curry at about 8 years old, and then proceeded on to competing in SA schools, Sanjay, seniors, and now my international tours. SA schools, in my opinion, especially for the younger swimmers, is a great opportunity as it gives you a glimpse into future tours. You move as a team at SA schools because your parents aren't allowed to stay at the same hotel as you or transport you to and from the pool. So you are taught to move as a team, which is very useful for when you go to a gala internationally, because your parents don't come with you, so you must be able to adapt to being able to move as a team when at those galas. People competing in SA schools in Bloemfontein make the most of SA schools this year because, number one, being selected for this gala means that it's a great opportunity for you. And number two, it opens many other doors to perhaps an international gala in the future. But at the same time, don't forget to have fun. I train 6 times a week for an hour and a half every day. I'm currently not doing any gym sessions, but I hope to introduce that into my schedule in the future when I have more time. Every day we do about 2 to 3 different sets that are very specific to the way that we swim, and these sets become harder as the weeks progress. In order to have a good swimmer-coach relationship, you and your coach need to have good communication, trust, and patience. Reese started coaching me when I was about 11 years old, and he's always supported me throughout my journey in swimming. He's a very patient person. He's very invested in his job, and he's always willing to offer his swimmers good advice about their races. Mindset also plays a huge role in your relationships with your coach as well as your friends. I work with Joe Mountford from Beat It with Joe, and we develop new perspectives and focus when racing. So term 1 has been a very busy term, both academically as well as in the pool. So this means that Reese and I haven't been able to sit down and write down our goals for 2025. At this point, I think that the best thing that I can do is get into the pool every day and train as hard as possible. Things should then fall into place. I've got senior nationals, Sanjay, and the trip to Cairo coming up. So I'll just be training as hard as I can for those meets.
It's so great hearing from our rising star, Cassidy Burgess. We are wishing her only the best as she races her heart out both here at home and in Egypt next month. Stick around because after this short break, we've got another amazing guest lined up for you, and you don't want to miss this. Welcome back to Swimming on 216. Our next guest is an esteemed expert in the world of South African swimming, Olympic coach Dr. Karin Hugo. Karin was my coach, overseeing both my swimming and my strength and conditioning programs on my journey to the Tokyo Olympics. With her PhD in sports science, Karin has been revolutionizing the way that we approach strength and conditioning in swimming in South Africa. I'm so excited for you to hear our conversation. Let's take a look. I would like to introduce a very special guest on Swimming on 216 and someone that I know very well from our own swimming journey, Dr. Karin Hugo. Karin, welcome to Swimming on 216.
Thank you very much.
You have had an incredible journey around the swimming pool and also in multiple other sports. Karin has accompanied an Olympic team and Paralympic team, and she has also gotten her doctorate in sports science, so very accomplished. It's great to have you on Swimming on 216.
Thank you very much.
So there are a few topics that I'd love to discuss, but because we have limited time, the one thing that I really want to focus on is strength and conditioning for swimmers specifically. Because you have such a great background in sports science, and it's something that you have worked with me on, with multiple other athletes on, how does that strength component, really complement swimming? And what is your sort of philosophy with how to fit in the strength and conditioning in the gym alongside the swimming training that all of these swimmers are doing?
Sure, big question. But I think everybody needs strength. If you want to be an athlete, and it doesn't matter if it's a swimmer or a track and field athlete, unfortunately, you need strength to compete. If you look at the international swimmers, and you've seen quite a few of them, the girls are big and strong individuals. And it all comes down to power to weight ratio. How much water can you pull, and it doesn't matter what stroke, and move your body. The amount of water you can pull will propel you forward, and that's basically what it is. So yes, technique plays a major role, but you also have to be strong and you have to be powerful.
Yeah.
So that's what you want to get right.
Not that easy.
No, it's not that easy, and it takes time. I think that's, people start a program and think I'm going to be strong
immediately.
Within a year I'm going to be the best the strongest swimmer there is, and unfortunately it doesn't work like that. There's so many intricate movements that you have to learn, you have to work on, and then there's the different stages of strength that you have to work on.
Yes, those blocks.
The blocks.
The periodization. And in this time of the season, we're going to be working on this, and later on, we're going to be working on something different.
Yeah.
So, what sort of age would you say would be ideal for swimmers to start incorporating strength into their training?
So actually it has changed a little bit. The science has changed. So in the past, everybody said don't start strength training too early. You're gonna hurt yourself. You're gonna stump your growth. But science has shown lately that you can start earlier.
Okay.
So, but it depends on naturally on what you do. Okay, that's the first thing I have to mention. Don't jump up, everybody. So they say between 7 and 8 you can start incorporating light strength training.
As in body weight kind of work?
No, you can actually add a little bit of resistance.
Wow, okay.
But I'm talking a little bit of resistance. You're not going to pick up a Olympic bar. Olympic bar weighs 20 kilograms. You know, they're not thinking of Olympic lifting, that type of thing. Yeah. But they're saying add a little bit of resistance.
Okay, interesting.
Push up, for instance, is body weight. So you're also adding resistance. So there's nothing wrong. It's great. And that's where I will start if I work with little ones or younger athletes, you know, doing body weight exercises, doing using exercise bands. But you have to go through all those movements
and get them right.
And learn the technique.
Yeah.
So what I find is because a lot of children don't actually do PE anymore, don't play as much as we did many years ago, that they can't move anymore. They don't know how to jump on one leg. They just don't know. They don't know how to do triple jump. That's stuff that we had to do in gymnastics and all that stuff. And they don't know how to move anymore. And that's where our eyes start usually, is just teach them how to move. Yeah. And it's not always applicable to swimming per se, but you have to be an athlete. It's that foundation, and you have to be an athlete to be in any sport, doesn't matter what it is. You want to be an athlete. And if you progress in swimming at a later stage, you know, then at least that foundations are there. So they say from 7 to 8 you can start doing little things.
Yeah. And like you said, the generations have kind of changed and morphed as we've gone along. The science has also changed.
Yes.
But I think one thing that's definitely coming through a lot more with the younger swimmers, the aspiring swimmers that are coming through, is the social media, of course, and being very easily influenced by what they see on social media. So, you know, these fitness influencers or random workouts, 20-minute hit, this and that. And I do think that there is a risk that a lot of them get swept up in these, you know, interesting looking social media workouts, or that they go along with their parents and they do what they see their parents are doing or their older siblings are doing. What are the kind of risks of them doing something like that and not sticking to a swimming specific program?
So what I find is that a lot of those exercises are not really made, even if it looks great and wonderful and you're kicking on a ball, but it's not biomechanical correct. So in a gym you want to do strength training. If you go to a gym you want to do strength training, you don't want to swim. And I think what a lot of us, and I mean I also fell in this trap a little bit at a stage, was so you get these exercises where all of a sudden they do a lot of kicking on a Swiss ball or one of these big balls.
So they're swimming on land, basically.
And that changes your mechanics, because the kicking in the water is not the same. It's very different, exactly, than kicking on a ball or kicking with rubber bands. Leave the water stuff for the water. We in the pool way too much anyway. We're in the pool often, every day. We're in the gym maybe 3 times a week, or do the strength work in the gym. And I think that's the major thing, is don't get swept up by those exercises. Rather go to somebody that knows what they're doing and know what you're going to do, and always ask the person, what is this exercise for? I think that's very, very important. And I might do an exercise and recommend it, and somebody else might recommend it for something else. But there is a lot of good science, and that's why I always say go to professionals for these things.
Yes.
Most of them really know what they're doing, and there is and swimming is a little bit specific. We've got 4 different strokes. We've got different events from short to long. So you use different muscle groups all over the place. You have your fast twitch fibers that has to work, your long twitch fibers. But it is important that you that somebody understands swimming. Know what biomechanical structures are needed, and know what muscle groups are needed. So it is important to go to somebody.
And I think
special.
in that way, like you said, by working with a professional, by not just doing random things that you see and that look cool, you're also reducing the risk for injury.
Yeah,
because
injury
that's a
is a
huge
major
problem
thing.
that can pop up in the gym, especially like you said, if swimmers don't know the exercises, don't know how to perform the exercises properly, and that technique is not there, it's a surefire way to get injured.
Yeah, and you get the overload principle. Already we're using our shoulders every day so much. We're pulling with our paddles, you know, and now you want to add maybe, or the person that wrote your program wants to give you 10 shoulder exercises. The load is just too much, and you might get injured. So it has to be very specific. They must know what they're doing. They must understand the load in the pool. That's
so
something
it works
else.
together.
Yeah, it's great if a coach and a trainer or can work together. That's the best idea. You know, if I work with a coach, I always ask them, when are their main sets? What are the main sets like? When are you more aerobic based training? You know, when is the hard sets?
As well,
so I can plan as well. And then the other thing that comes in is your fatigue in the gym. The neuromuscular fatigue in the gym is major.
I know that very well.
You know, everyone knows. So, and there is a certain amount of recovery needed before you get into the gym as well, for the next time. So it's important we structure it. We structure your gym during the week, and the coaches has to understand that.
Well, Karin, it's been amazing chatting to you about these subjects. Thank you so much for sharing your advice and your knowledge, and also just great to chat and see you in Stellies. It's been amazing to have you on Swimming on 216. We hope to see you around the pool soon.
Thank you very much.
As Karin said, strength is a key factor to unlocking your potential in the pool, and it's so essential to get it right to take your swimming to the next level. So promise me, no more random TikTok workouts or tagging along with your parents to the gym, okay? Glad to hear it. That's a wrap for tonight's episode of Swimming on 216, proudly brought to you by Curo. I can't wait to see you again next Sunday at 7 p.m, and until then, just keep swimming.